Alright, so here we have the original volume box. You see it's the actual thing that's plugged in right now. Right back here. And so what you get is you click it once to turn it on, and then you hold it down to turn it off. Or while it's on, you can click once to switch between headphone mode and power speaker mode, and you turn it up right there. And you got some music. And we'll stop the music because it gets real loud. And you see it goes all the way up to 80. Back down to 0. Well, back down to 1. And you can adjust the rear speakers down to -9 decibels and up to +15. And the same with the center channel. And the subwoofer. And if you go into headphone mode, you get, so we've got headphones plugged in. And you see that that's the headphone plug and the line-in plug. And they both connect to the same thing. It's just one connection on the inside of the box. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the original box. Oh, and that happens a lot whenever you turn it off. I don't know if it's just because my box is getting old, but sometimes it comes back on when you try to turn it off. And it's real annoying. So that's that. Hello again, internet. So I've remade this video a few times because I keep changing things, but hopefully this will be the last one. So here's the new box. It's a box. It's prototype, so it doesn't really look like a whole lot, but that's the board holding bracket holes. Switches don't do anything. We'll get to the remote in a minute. So you see it's the cable and it's actually plugged in. Oh, there we go. Plugged into the subwoofer there. And so basically we got the remote here. And it's just a Sony universal remote. Costs like $10 or something. You can get them pretty cheap. And so we've got power, and it turns on the box, and we've got volume, volume up, volume down, volume up and down to the nearest 5. So say if you're on like 12, it'll go to 15 or to 10. We got the display button here. It'll turn the screen off, but you can still adjust things. The recall button, well, let's go to mute button right there. All it does is turn the volume down. It won't turn it back up because I don't know, I didn't feel like doing that. Mostly because if you had it like real high and you had to hit mute and then you forgot about it and hit mute again, you don't want it flying way back up. Let's see, we got adjustments. So we've got up, down, and then display for rear speaker, center speaker, subwoofer. So there's rear, center, sub. I got the sub at 5 right now, +5. So if you hit up or down, it'll immediately change. But if you just hit the middle one, it will just show you what your current offset is at. And they'll go to +15 and all the way down to -15. In the original box it only goes to -9, but that's because I'm pretty sure that's just because they only had 2 digits, and so if they wanted the negative symbol, it had to be over on this left number, and so you could only go as far as 9 in 1 digit. And if you hit the display button again for whichever one you're looking at, it'll switch back to your volume display. So say we're at like volume 25, and then you're adjusting the center, and then you can just turn that back off. Otherwise, if you just let it sit for a couple seconds, it goes back just like the factory box does. You can see right there here, so we got the display in there, switches that don't do anything, and this is the infrared receiver, and it's just plugged into the Arduino board there. Yeah, so we've got Arduino, and then we've just got a Proto Shield. You can see those in the pictures. Yep. The switches used to be for power and whatnot, but I was like, oh wait, I've got a whole remote. I can just do power like that. So that's that. The other thing you can do is we've got, so yeah, the recall button is the headphone button. So you can just turn it right on to headphone mode without having to go through main power. Yeah, headphone plug. And then you can turn your volume up and down in headphone mode. And then when it's on, this switches between modes, so it'll switch to power mode, and then back to headphone mode. Back to power mode. So, oh, and when you're in headphone mode, none of these offset buttons do anything. The display button will still shut it off, but and so then you switch back to your power mode, and our offsets are still where we left them. Oh, and so like here we're at 35. Then we turn it off, and then when you turn it back on, it's back at 1 on power and headphone mode. I did that because other people would use the speakers and then, you know, oh, I've got it turned up to 50 or whatever. And then they turn it off and just leave it. And then you want to go use the speakers, like, oh, turn the speakers on, and they're at 50 and things explode and it's no good. So you can change that behavior in the code if you want. You just comment out a couple of lines on the power off, and so it won't set the volumes back down to 1. It'll just leave them at whatever you left them at. And yeah, that's it. It's the volume box, the remote control. It works pretty great. Nobody trips on it. It's awesome.